Good.
Our wonderful staff member to us.
So,
Call the meeting to order. The first item of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. And would you lead us in the pledge? Next item on the agenda is citizen comments. Do we have anybody that signed up for citizen comments? We'll close the hearing and go on to the approval of the September 20th board minutes. We all had a chance to look at the minutes.
Move for approval.
Second. Motion is second to approve the minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. For committee reports, Tito, would you talk about the RTC?
Yes, just a couple items that were presented in which the council approved and which will benefit Trinity Metro. One was the Access North Texas 2022 update. It was the approval of the update. Access North Texas is the regional public transportation coordination plan for the North Central Texas region. It's updated every 4 years and will benefit Trinity Metro in various ways. This guide, it's used as a guide for funding and implementation decisions. It also developed a document called Get a Ride Guide, which identifies existing transportation resources and developed new regional goals and prioritized county strategies. And the next item was the approval of the proposal to extend existing and fund new RTC management operations, air quality and safety projects and programs. And this one also will benefit Trinity Metro. And that's all I have to report.
The next committee report is on commuter rail. Ben?
all right. Thank you. So the Commuter Rail Committee met on October 17th, and Vice President and Chief Operations Officer for Rail first introduced Anthony Fuller as the new TRE Director. This is where I'm going to pause my notes for a minute, and I want to say what a testament it is to our staff that we are able to promote and grow from within. And as a Board of Director member who has traveled to APTA and rail with Anthony and with AJ, I could not be more impressed and excited about this, and I want that again on the record as I stated it last week. So for a brief moment, I just want to say, Anthony, we're very impressed with you and excited to see what you can do. Now back to work. So also, AJ discussed witnessing increasing ridership and presently working alongside marketing to partner with DFW International Airport and joining the Easy Ride and creating an opportunity to significantly increase TexRail's ridership. Further, on October 5th, Mayor Matty Parker interviewed Trinity Metro's CEO, Rich Andreski, sitting over here to my left, for her podcast. And the really cool part about this is, and thankful to our marketing team, we arranged for that podcast to be transmitted from one of our trains, which is just cool as all get out. So the podcast was transmitted from and recorded on a TexRail train and was a tremendous success. We also discussed the vision for TRE, which would include new equipment and 30-minute transit times across the corridor. On Thursday, October 17th, the Trinity Railway Express Advisory Committee, I added extra sentences or letters in there, will meet and report of that meeting, providing Trinity Metro in our November board meeting some ideas on how to do that and how to achieve those 30-minute headways. And anybody who's traveled to the other end of the Metroplex in any time in the past 3 to 5 years knows that 30 minutes is amazing. I think my quoted drive time right now is at least 45 minutes. I've also done it in as little as 3 hours. So would love to see, I think that would be a huge plus for our system and a huge benefit, continuing with Trinity Metro's vision of connecting and commuting our community. We have one board action item on the consent agenda, BA 2023-07, which is the fiscal year 2023 key performance indicators. As presented at our meeting last week, all was well in par with the goals that we've had in years past that we continue to exceed and knock out of the park. And I think it's a really great opportunity for our KPIs for this coming fiscal year.
Sure, thank you. The Trinity Metro Pump Committee met on September the 19th, 2022. The operation report was provided by Wayne, COO of VP of Bus and Paratransit. Wayne shared with the committee highlights of performance as we close out the fiscal year of 22, including on-time performance and preventable versus non-preventable collisions. Wayne also shared the great news that the staff plans to install new cushion seats. Isn't that exciting on the bus? The new seats will be covered instead of carrying cloth covering, which will be easier to keep clean for our customers. Committee members was invited to view samples and provide feedbacks on the proposed seats. In the ridership report, Chad Edwards, VP of Planning and Development, shared that our closeout for fiscal 22 at a 30% increase in system-wide ridership year over year. We learned that TexRail is the leader in the regard to ridership growth, with 8 out of 12 months last year being all-time high since the start of service. According to Chad, peers at the recent APTA annual conference were encouraged by our continued ridership recovery and lack of operator shortage. We ended the year with 81% pre-pandemic ridership recovered. Melissa, VP of Marketing Communications, highlighted the TM advertising campaign results in September, which resulted in a 22% ridership increase in September 22. We compared it with September 21. She also spent some time discussing community sponsorships, partnerships, and outreach, particularly recent sponsorship in Grapevine at near South Side. At the committee request, information was shared as how to staff determines which opportunities we support. That is done through events, themes, and through our services. Deidre Whitmore, VP of Customer Experience, provided an overview of recent Vanpool customer service. At 81% of our Vanpool customers are happy with the customer service that they have recently. Nearly 100% would recommend Vanpool to a friend or customer. 80% of our customers are satisfied with the service as a whole. And I will put a pin there and just say we really appreciate the efforts for the cleanup this past weekend. I do apologize I didn't attend, but I know a lot of us did, and so we appreciate your service on that. I keep going down this long paragraph listed here. The committee discussed it, 2 information items of Antonio, Business of Community Outreach Manager, and Jasha, is that Jasha? All right, hi. Outreach Coordinator gave an update on Easy Ride programs. Melissa also shared plans to rebrand Route 15 to the Stockyard Dash. We have 5 action items on the agenda. The committee has recommended that the board of directors approve all 5. That will conclude my report. Thank you.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none, the last committee report is Nick on Finance and Audit.
Thank you, Jeff. At the October 17th committee meeting, we addressed a number of issues. For fiscal year 22, sales tax receipts are up approximately 19% over the prior year and approximately 20% over budget, which equates to roughly $17.9 million. Really doing well when it comes to tax receipts. Overall revenues for fiscal year 22 are up from budgeted levels due to strong sales tax revenues and fares, and despite COVID-related grant funding timing issues. Operating expenses for fiscal year 22 are under budget, primarily by timing differences, savings due to the use of retirement account forfeitures, insurance costs, and staffing levels. Our capital grant revenues were down $44 million for the fiscal year due to timing differences. Balance sheet reflects consistency, and we are very happy with that. No surprises there. Cash flow is closely monitored and as of today is adequate to support operations as contemplated in the budget in the near term. The issue with the SAM registration has been resolved, but due to the delay in the approval, our cash balance will not reach the projected $92 million at year end, but will adequately, well, I was going to say, will adequately cover ourselves with approximately $25 million. We are awaiting FTA approvals of a number of grants before requesting funds are owed, and FTA says they are understaffed. It's interesting. There are no action items on the agenda, and this concludes my report.
Any comments about the finance report? Then, are there any matters which should be withdrawn from the consent agenda? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I move for approval.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Hearing none, the motion passes. We'll go into information item. Kelly, Juneteenth beginning 2023.
Thank you. I get to do a good announcement. If you'll turn to page 17 in your packets, I'll present the information on the observance of Juneteenth beginning fiscal year 2023. In June of 2021, Juneteenth was added as a federally observed holiday. June 19th commemorates the day that the enslaved Americans in Texas learned of their freedom. Unfortunately, that was 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation was signed. So Trinity Metro is officially adding Juneteenth as a paid holiday for all of our employees. That's it.
Is that going to be on the 19th, or is that going to be 3 days?
It'll be on, well, for bargain unit, it'll be on the 19th. For staff, it'll be observed either the Friday or Friday or Monday, depending on, yeah, exactly. Thanks.
Comments on that? Questions? Okay. Ridership Task Force update.
All right, well, y'all get me first. So I know I've mentioned this at several board meetings, well, I guess just last month's board meeting, and shared with the board of directors that one thing that I think your leadership team is committed to, every bit as much as this board of directors is committed to, and that's increasing ridership. You know, that's really a part of every conversation that we've had coming out of the pandemic and really shaping everything that we're doing moving forward. So one of the things that we really wanted to take a look at was how can we increase ridership with our existing resources? And so that's kind of the tease that we've been talking about with this group since September. So now we get to see the fruits of the labor, right, and all the hard work that our team has put in. And so to really have the fun part of this and share the tactics that the group has recommended, we'll have our chairperson and our vice chairperson come share that with you. Thanks.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Evan Escher. I'm the chairperson for the Ridership Task Force Committee. This is Sarah Rogers. She is the co-chairperson. It's an honor to be presenting to you today, and we're excited to be a part of this task force. And we're here to present some recommendations to increase ridership that could be completed over the next 12 months. And we believe that these ideas will be easy to implement and will have a high success rate.
So the members of this task force came from all different departments of the company, which helped to bring different perspectives and point of views. We had multiple meeting dates to compile all of the different ideas into the final presentation. And at this time, we would actually like to recognize the members of the task force that were able to join us today. Can you please stand?
So we began with 3 primary strategies for increasing ridership. First, safety, to help riders feel more secure and comfortable on board. Second, customer experience, to help riders have more of an incentive to use Trinity Metro. And third, education, to make the general public more aware of our services. Now, what's interesting about the ideas that we're going to present is that they don't have to do with increasing service levels, but instead revolve around enhancing the general spectrum of customer touch points around Trinity Metro.
First off, we want to start out with TexRail having a re-grand opening event. As you can see, we have a time frame. We want to do it on January 10th, 2023, so that it lands on the 4-year anniversary. So we want to do the 4-year anniversary with 4 different stations, including Smithfield, Iron Horse, Grapevine, and Central Station. Due to the pandemic, we had a little bit of a decrease in ridership. So by having a re-grand opening, we are not only able to attract those riders back, but also introduce it to all of the new public that have joined Texas communities.
Are we allowed to ask questions?
Absolutely, anytime, interrupt. Let me go back.
What are you going to do as far as the rebranding and that?
So obviously, TexRail has created a great brand for itself already. So we just want to introduce it to everyone. We want to do a little event at 4 different stations, and obviously we're gonna have to put together something and create what the specifics for that would be.
So that's still in the plan.
Absolutely.
Next, upgraded technology. So we have 2 specific recommendations here. The first is expanding Wi-Fi to the trains and all of the buses, as Wi-Fi is currently available on Dash. And this would enhance the customer experience, and it would also allow us to advertise the concept of an increase in value of travel time. So instead of driving to work and focusing on the road and potentially bad drivers, you could be on a train or a bus working on an email or a presentation or participating in a Teams meeting. The second idea is creating QR codes that link to the GoPass app and implementing them at all bus stops and on all ticket vending machines. So people can use the GoPass app more for trip planning purposes or in the event that a machine happens to be down.
So Bruce, if you don't mind me asking, so we will have good, solid, I can plug in my phone, it needs charging, and it'll be charged between here and the airport?
So the,
You're going to be charging, I'm not too sure I get you charged that quickly.
Okay, but I mean, better than it has been, though.
Yes, sir, better than it has been.
Same thing with the Wi-Fi then?
Yes, sir. That's all that, do up in our train system.
Okay. Enough?
So GoPass CSA integration. We are wanting to advertise that there is a report a problem in the GoPass app. Instead of having to download 2 separate apps, we want to advertise and teach people that GoPass is the only one that you need. This falls into 2 different buckets because safety, for obvious reasons, it's real quick to get on there and report it. And secondly, customer service, it's a streamlined experience. CSA isn't going to go anywhere. We're going to keep CSA for the people that already know about it, but we want to start advertising for the new individuals.
next, upgrading the website. So we want the website to be more user-friendly and easier to navigate. Specifically, we want to make the system map more accessible. We also want to move the different language options to the top of the homepage and also add more language translations. As for example, we've had a lot of requests for Vietnamese. We also want to make other improvements such as making the community service pages more prominent and updating the riders services page. And next, schedule day. So this is a planned event around the spring service change. We'll have a group of people take schedules and updated service information to the local businesses and just help educate the public about the transit options available to them.
And this is also going to include the TexRail line, have a group of people and approach the apartment complexes that are going up over at Iron Horse and let them know they have this service available to them to get to work, whether it's in Fort Worth or toward DFW Airport. officers and NPOs on board. So NPOs is the neighborhood police officers. And so officers and neighborhood police officers in uniform while riding. This takes us back to the safety bucket so that the public can feel safe while riding on our buses and trains. The program is already starting to be put in place. We've had the outreach program reach out to the Fort Worth PD, and they are already part of the Easy Ride program. So now this will be easier to implement and get them on board and riding our trains. Veterans included in the reduced fare program. So remember, looking to the future, we need to do our part for those who have and are serving and add them to the reduced fare program so that we can show our appreciation to all they have done for us.
Next, stop and station improvements. So we would like to address our current minimum standards for our bus stops and create a new higher level to improve safety and customer experience. For example, improvements would include more adequate lighting, more benches, more coverage, and display boards so people can see when the next buses are arriving. And just to mention, the planning department is currently working on a bus stop improvement plan. So this would be in conjunction and would also expand to some of the Tex Rail stations.
Our last tactic, Tactic 9, is the Rewards and Loyalty Program. We want to introduce this program. It'd be a new kind of program within the transit agencies where you can collect points every time you ride to trade in for a free ride. This will be through the Go Pass for local rides only, creating a monthly fare cap in order to, if they purchase that many rides, they get the monthly pass. And this is not only going to help creating an incentive for the overall customer service experience, but also guarantee more riders and help increase the usage of the Go Pass.
All right, so here's just a quick summary of the different tactics that we came up with and when is the targeted implementation date. And lastly, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to listen to us. We really appreciate it, and for hearing about our ideas for enhancing the whole spectrum of customer touchpoints across Trinity Metro. Do you have any questions or feedback for us?
Any comments? And,
Tito's about to.
oh, Tito?
I saw the mic move.
Oh, no. One, I just want to thank the committee members, you for your leadership, and the other committee members for your time, your commitment, and your dedication to Trinity Metro and our efforts to increase ridership and be a better system. So thank you.
Thank you, we appreciate that.
I mean, I think ridership is just an everyday thing. I mean, you just don't do it in January and then forget about it for the rest of the year. And so I think this is a great start, and I would hope that by the end of this year, maybe we'll have tactic number 15.
Right.
But I just think this is a great start, and, like I said, every day is a new day for ridership. And the more we just focus on it, the more people will ultimately come and work with Trinity Metro. You've done a great job.
Thank you.
I completely echo everything. Love each and all of these. And I think it's important that we use this as a catalyst to do similar committees, on a regular basis, which Melissa and I have already talked about. So I know I'm preaching to the choir. This was by far more than we were hoping for. So I'm lobbing out a question to Rich, since you're everyone's boss. I 100% support the Veterans Reduced Fare Program. Is it possible, and this, I don't know how our rules work, but could we make free rides to the VA clinic so they can use reduced fare across the board, but if any of our veterans active or, served in the past are going to our VA clinic in town, I would like for them to know they can get there and get that care they deserve for free.
Well, thank you for that. We'll take a look at that and see how that might work.
Okay.
Teresa?
Yes, thank you. Thank you all so much for these recommendations. It's very thoughtful and
That brings up a follow-up question, exactly to what she said. Y'all represent some of our best and brightest staff across the board. What is the best way that you would feel honored and recognized from the board for engaging with y'all? Is it riding a train with you and visiting? Is it sending you a card and, handwritten notes like the the 60s? How, I think an important takeaway from this first task committee, if y'all get together one more time, is how does the board acknowledge how grateful we are for y'all's service across all of the departments, across all the board, across all of the Trinity Metro system? That's a huge question, because our job is to help work alongside Rich and the leadership team, but it's also to acknowledge that we wouldn't be anything that we are without y'all.
I mean, that's a tough answer to come up with on the spot.
And go.
How about this as a
How
follow-up?
about a T-shirt?
Yeah, we'll give you a yellow T-shirt. How about, are we going to get updates on this?
I think we can.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, that'd be great.
Follow up on the updates. They probably need to think about an ongoing, I don't want to say permanent committee, but a group that meets and follows the progress and makes additional recommendations is I think what this board is thinking about. Very, very appropriate, very thoughtful report. Thank you very much for how thorough it is and relevant it is, because ridership, if I hear it once, I hear it 1,000 times. We're doing an awfully good job, and we just need to, if I could say one more thing, we just need to get the word out about how well we're doing, not just compared with other communities, but in general, and we need to blow the top off of this and do an even better job. So thank you for that. Outstanding report.
One more comment.
You bet, Peter.
Thank you. And thank you for recognizing the ridership opportunities at the Iron Horse Station. I'm kind of partial to North Richland Hills. And I can guarantee you that we're not done there yet. And we're starting to develop around Smithfield. So that's be another opportunity. And there's a great development around City Hall. We just got to find a way to get those folks to the stations. Anybody have any ideas? All right, bikes.
Zip zone.
So thank you for recognizing that.
Appreciate you very much.
Thank
Well
you
done.
for your guys' time today.
The next order of business is the President's report.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to acknowledge first Ben's comments about how the board can support us. I'll say that your participation in our events, whether they be employee welfare events, community events, has been extraordinary. I've never seen anything like it. The turnout here around this dais, you come out all the time. That sends a message. So while it may not seem like you're recognizing us, your participation and engagement is extraordinary. I want to thank you for that.
Thank you.
So good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, board members, Trinity Metro staff, and members of the public. As you know, our executive leadership team, and in fact, many of you at this dais, have spent time listening to and engaging with our employees over the summer. We heard our team wants to feel more connected to each other and our public service mission. We are turning that feedback into action. Earlier this month, we had a wildly successful bus rodeo, a sunny, spectacular day of competition. Bus operators, technicians, customer service representatives, and others showed off their skills. A personal highlight for me was watching a team of technicians decode and troubleshoot electronic boards in the maintenance shop. And it was an extra special treat to see board member and city council member Michael Crane drive the mini electric bus around the bus yard. We heard our team misses social events, so we are bringing back the annual year-end party. Volunteers from across the company are working together on this year's event, which is scheduled for Saturday, December 10th. You are all invited to join us. Many other recent or planned initiatives include a Brats and Root Beer event at HRP, Trinity Metro Family Days at the Cutting Edge Haunted House, and the famous pancake breakfast in November. One of Trinity Metro's core values is putting people first. That starts with taking care of our employees so they can take care of our customers. This month, we announced changes to our health insurance plan to prioritize health and wellness. Employees who participate in Trinity Metro's wellness program will no longer pay a premium for their health insurance or internal gym membership fees. Trinity Metro's wellness program is a way to encourage healthy behaviors, which includes a healthy diet, exercise, and getting regular checkups. These recent changes build on other investments in our workforce, notably Trinity Metro's first-class medical clinic located next to HRP that opened in September 2019. I personally used the clinic a few times and highly recommend it. All employee visits and personal information are strictly confidential. And finally, we are buzzing with excitement this Monday following a very successful Trinity Metro bus stop cleanup day. Thanks to Deetra Whitmore and her team for signing up more than 400 volunteers. We are very grateful for everyone's support, including all Trinity Metro staff, most of you in this room, who volunteered on Saturday, despite the very early hour. Our always supportive Trinity Metro Board of Directors, Fort Worth City Council members, and the Fort Worth Transportation and Public Works Department. We not only clean bus stops, but we build friendships. We are Trinity Metro proud. We are Fort Worth proud. Mr. Chairman, this concludes my remarks.
Thank you.
Oh, yes, and now we have some slides. Deetra, did you want to show the slides? I take a little bit of credit.
Just a little. Okay, so again, thank you all for participating. Thank you, Rich, for that acknowledgement. It was quite fun. This was the best one ever. So these are some of the photos from while we were out there. You can see Ben, he's working really hard with that lawnmower. Ben and Tito were able to partner with another team, and so they just kept going all different routes. My team, named We Mean to Clean, we had a really hard bus stop, and as you can see, you know, one of those bus stops belonged to me, and it was the one that we started with first. So yeah, they helped me clean my bus stop. So here are some other photos, the power washing. Wayne and his team had the trucks out power washing our bus stops, which was great. So I know,
Team.
I know, right?
Hold up.
Cheated. We had to do that with a toothbrush.
I know we were wiping our shelters with our disinfectant spray. So we were out there really doing some great things. You see Rich and his team, his two kiddos, and then Councilwoman Beck was there. So we just had a lot of fun. Thank you, Jeff, for coming for our lunch. And there's Teresa there, AJ, and Anthony. So it was just nice to see everybody out. The rooms were full. For lunch, the room just kept filling up. People would have lunch and leave, and another wave of people would come in. So it was a great turnout, a great Saturday, and I hope everyone's not too sore today. But
Deetra, can I chime in real quick? So that team that Tito and I caught up with is relatives of Sonia on your team,
Yes.
and one of them is a former driver for us who, though she is no longer employed by Trinity Metro, still has heart in her old route and wanted to make sure that it was taken care of. And she and a friend have adopted a bus stop a long time ago and continue to take care of it. So to the heart of the family that is Trinity Metro, I love that it was a connection to one of your staff and a former employee and all of that, but we still take care of our own there. And can you tell us, I think you told me the other day, we're at 400 something this year, but what were we last year? Because the growth was insane.
last year, because we were coming out of COVID, we had about 176.
To a jump of over 400 this year. So that's a testament to you and your team, Deetra, and we really appreciate you.
It was great. Thank you so much. And we actually collected 230 plus bags of trash. We had 27 bus stops adopted on Saturday.
Yeah.
So, wow. We were excited. And we have a lot of our drivers, our employees actually have adopted stops. So everyone's just all a part of this whole thing.
Took our trash bags home, but if you want to, I'll bring them tomorrow morning.
Let me say just one thing, Jeff. Sure. For those of you who are in the audience, do not volunteer for Deetra's team. We worked so hard and so long that by the time we got back here, there were no ribs left. There were limited amounts of cookies, and at least they had some iced tea. But I mean, this lady worked us to death.
I didn't even break a sweat.
I know.
Those ribs were amazing.
Yes.
Very quickly,
And I will say,
go ahead, Teresa.
working on Wayne's team, we had kids out there sweating using that power wash, I'm telling you. And I was holding the bag, but we had a really good time. It was a lot of fun, and I didn't know what to anticipate, but it felt really good to go out and help the community. So if anyone would like to participate next year, it was a blast. We had a great time. Thank you, Deidre. You very much. Very well. Thank you all.
Terrific job, Deidre. Just a couple of comments from the chair. Sometimes I know I personally, and I think the board and you out there feel like public transportation, we're all swimming upstream. And what you really please understand is that there's a great deal of support, as was shown Saturday with the cleanup at the grassroots level. There's also a great deal of support, and I'm going to speak to Fort Worth in particular because the Real Estate Council does these polls every 2 years, and there's like 82% of the people, the voters in Fort Worth support rail and transit, and 55% support bus and rail improvements out of the general revenue fund. So, you know, we all hear, and if I hear one more time about empty buses, you know, I can tell you what's going to happen to a former council member. You know who it is, too. But there is a deep and wide support for public transit in Fort Worth, as evidenced by last Saturday's event. And we just need to incrementally move forward with more and better. Today was a terrific example of more and better with the ridership team. I couldn't think of anything more appropriate than to have our own employees come together and make some recommendations, because they're all outstanding recommendations, and your board will pay attention to what you ask us to do. So let's, one at a time, one grassroots person, one board meeting, one anybody that you can talk to about public transportation, how important it is to the community. Please reach out and answer their questions. Find out what they want. And I believe that our future's ahead of us. And I've seen nothing but great things coming from the board, coming from the staff, coming from the community. So, you know, we're gonna overcome swimming upstream pretty soon, and we're gonna start really making a difference in our communities. So, hats off again for that wonderful cleanup day, but hats off to everybody for the job they do every day. I can't say enough about what you do every day. It's really remarkable. I don't even know what you do, but it's brilliant. I'm blocking you. No, I don't. I can't get on the internet. And the other thing is, you know, I hear, why aren't you doing things more technologically advanced? And I'm going, are you kidding me? We do that every day. It's not just the Go Pass. It's not just the bus stops. It's just not the computers we have. It's all of the things we do from trimming our TexRail wheels to what Wayne does, looking at all the new electric infrastructure we're going to need. We are as technologically advanced as you possibly could be and spending the money wisely for our community. So I want to make that point clear, that we're not just a bus operator, although that's the backbone of what we do, but our technology levels are as high as they could be of any agency in the United States. So two things to leave you with. One is the really broad-based support, and the other is how technologically advanced that we are and will continue to be. So just keep those two things in mind, and I think the future's ahead of us. With that, is there any other business to come before the board? Hearing none, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you all. I don't do gavels.